Now you guys can only see me, so if you want to communicate, you can just type in the chat box that's down below, and you can select panelists or panelists and attendees. So that's the way you can communicate. I cannot see you. Hi, Michelle. Michelle, did you get the seeds yet? I'm just curious if you got your mail today. They said 2 days, but not so sure about that. So I was going to email you to see if you got them yet. Also, I'm curious if you started your garden. You know, you said you're going to. About the customer service. No, I saw that you requested 4 packets of seeds, so I mailed them out Monday morning. So I was just curious if you got them yet. Okay, you haven't got your. Okay, maybe they'll come today or tomorrow. I was just curious. I think everything's a little delayed. So I'm probably going to start at like 104, 105, just to give people a minute to get in. It's about 2 of them now. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad to see you came back. Sorry about that before. Since a few people are here early, I'll just give you a sneak peek of some of the things we're going to make. So this is a little clay garden marker here. I have these outdoor, these go outside on my porch and I hang them on the side of my porch and they're hanging. So I needed something, I thought it'd be cute to create something that just hangs over. So I made this. I just transplanted this basil, so it's kind of mad at me. And I didn't water it yet, but I think it's really cute. So I'm going to show you guys how to make these today. Okay, so welcome if you're just coming in. Again, I can't see you. You can see me. I'm going to get started in a few minutes, but if you want to send us a message, you can do so in the chat at the bottom of your screen. So you can go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to teach you how to make some plant markers today. I made mine really colorful and bright. So just hoping to add some color and texture to my garden. So I'll be giving you some ideas. Oh, hi, Christina. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is my basement. I've turned it into a craft studio here. And on the other side, which you guys can't see, is the area for my kids. So I'm staring at all their toys, and you guys get the view of all the things I deem really pretty, which is all my craft supplies. So it's about one after. So let's give everyone just a couple more minutes to get in. I see some people are still coming in, so we'll give everyone just another moment. If you have any questions for me, feel free to type them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. You can ask questions throughout the program, and I'll do my best to answer them. So before we get started, you can just write in the chat if you have a garden, you're going to start a garden, if you have a container garden. You can let everybody know kind of what you plan on doing this year. I think there's been a spike in people thinking about starting some sort of garden because we go to the grocery store, there might not be something we want, or we have a little bit of extra time and we want to start a garden. I took last year off because I had my daughter and I was just busy, but this year I am out there starting my garden. I was digging out all the grass in the area I created. And honestly, my back is killing me today because I think I shoveled for 2 hours removing grass. And I was watching my neighbor with his tractor just, tilling his garden with no effort at all. And I was really jealous. But a lot of work goes into it. And I hope in return, I get a lot of fresh veggies that are delicious. So hopefully that will be my reward. So hopefully I'll be sharing some pictures of my garden with all these things that we create today to kind of complement the veggies growing out there. So okay, it's welcome if you just came in. I'm Amber Gagliardi. I'm a librarian at Middle Country Public Library, and I'm going to show you a few projects that you can do at home. So I'm going to get started in just a few moments. I'm repeating myself, but I can't see you. You can see me. If you want to communicate with me, just go ahead and use the chat box down below. And I'm leaning over like that because I'm reading the chat, which I will not do throughout the program. I have Elizabeth Malafi who will speak if you guys have a question. Okay, it's 5 after, so we're gonna get started. Welcome. I am Amber. I'm going to show you a few different projects today. So first, let me just give you a sneak peek of what we're going to do, and then I'll go into full detail. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is a wood burning technique to make these wood burned garden markers. So they look like this. I had some spoons and a spatula left over from another wood project I did at the library. So I'm going to repurpose these and make them into garden markers. So these are made out of bamboo, which I recommend if you're going to start wood burning. If it's your first time, it's easy to do. So those are the first things I'm going to show you. The second project I'm going to show you is how to use polymer clay to make several different labels. The first one, which if you came in early, you saw already, but this is made out of polymer clay as well, and it's labeling my herbs. So I'm going to show you how to make this. And then I have some garden markers that you would actually put in the garden itself. So these are nice and bright, so I can see them. I painted them yellow. I thought they would add some color. And these you would stake right into the ground. So that's going to be our second project. And then the third project is super simple. It's just making these rocks, which I did with my son yesterday. It was a lot of fun. We painted these, and we're going to label our plants outside. So I'll give you a little bit more information on those in just a moment. So the first thing we're going to start with is our wooden spoon wood burning project. So I took a look at what I was going to grow, and I started to label things that I'm going to put in my garden. So I did one that said beets. I did a cucumber. So you see here, and I'm going to have two varieties of cucumbers in my garden. So I did put the variety below, Longfellow, and then I'm going to have some pickling cucumbers as well. So I'm going to make those and label them. So keep that in mind. If you're doing that, you might want to write them in as well. So I chose the spatula for that one because I had more surface area here. And today I'm going to show you how to wood burn the carrots. And I also made a pumpkin one because I figured I can probably save a lot of money this year by growing my own pumpkins. So that is going to be something I do with the kids. What's nice about the pumpkin seeds is they're nice and big, so they won't lose them on me. So we are going to do some pumpkins out there, and I'm very excited for that. So if you've never wood burned before, I'm going to give you a few tips. If you've come to some of my classes, you might already have heard some of these things, but I just purchased this wood burner on Amazon. This company, what I like about this wood burner is it came in this great kit. So all my tips stay super organized. I'll show this to you. So here's like a kit. I purchased others and it doesn't come with this. So your tips are kind of just everywhere and you have to buy a separate container. So this is Woodland Home. That's the brand of this. So I really like this case. I don't love the burner, but I do like the case. So today I just have a basic writing tip on, and it's on already. So all I had to do is screw it on, super simple. And I preheated my wood burner. This one doesn't have the temperatures like I've seen other ones. So it just has these colors. So I have it on like a maroon setting, which is one of the reasons why I really don't like this one, because I like to have the exact temperatures. Because when you're wood burning, you want to know what the wood you're using, if you know that, and then there's recommended temperatures for that. So this is a little tricky, not knowing the exact temperature, but again, I played around with it and put it on that setting. So here's my spatula, and I wrote first in pencil pumpkin, and then I drew a pumpkin on here, which I'm also going to wood burn. So again, always be mindful where your cord is. I've done some of these classes at the library, and you get so into the project that you forget where the cord is, and like you end up burning the cord. So I've seen that happen. So my first safety tip is definitely be mindful of where your cord is, and just have it off to the side. all wood burning kits will come with a holder, so definitely have that on. They also come with the ability to screw them into a block of wood. I've yet to do that because I always put this away. I don't have a permanent station, but you do have that ability. If you're going to change tips out, you'll want to have some water to throw the tips in and some pliers to take the tips on and off. Today, I'm just showing you how to write words, and I'm going to use the same tip the whole time. So when you wood burn, you want to be mindful that you're going at an angle. We're very compelled to feel like we're writing like a pencil. It's the opposite. You're always going to burn from the side. And I always tell everyone, remember that it's a lot easier to move around the wooden spoon or whatever you're burning rather than trying to twist your wood burner itself around. So when I'm wood burning, I'm constantly moving my object around as opposed to my wood burner. So I am going to start with doing the pumpkin, and I'm just gonna bring it. I should be able to see that. And I'm going from the side.
Amber, did you write out and draw out what you wanted before you started wood burning?
Yes, I did that with a pencil, and you'll be able to erase that if you go you know, if something's a little out of whack and you just want to erase it. So I always write whatever I'm doing on my whatever I'm wood burning first. So good question. There are certainly stencils you can use if you like a certain look. When I would burn words, I tend to just write them by hand. And that's because it's easier to trace your handwriting sometimes than, you know, whatever stencil you find, especially if you find a stencil that has like a crazy font. I would certainly go for something basic. And wood burn in your own handwriting, in my opinion, is easier. But if you're going to create a stencil, make sure you find a nice font that's wide and nothing cursive or anything like that. You really want it to be simple. And again, I'm going to this, I'm using this from the side. When I have a wood burner with the temperature gauge on it, I always do bamboo at 375. Once you're used to it, you could go up to 400, but again, the higher the temperature, the faster it's going to burn. So you just got to be able to move as quick as it's burning. Okay, you can see I did pumpkin. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do this pumpkin that I made. Another thing you want to think about when you're wood burning is, you know, it's supposed to be relaxing. You don't want to stress out about it too much. It's not, it may not be perfect your first time. It's really something you have to practice. And if you're using something that has a grain that is very strong, just be mindful that you're not going to be able to curve over it if you have a very strong grain. So just be mindful of that and don't get stressed out about it. And I said that because I have, like, this has a vertical grain on it and I'm trying to do this pumpkin and it's like coming out, you know, not as curved as I want it to, but I'm just keeping that in mind as I do it. Now I'm just going to do this little stem here. Okay. All right. That looks good. I'm going to put my wood burner off to the side for a moment. Okay. So the next thing that you could consider once you would burn whatever word you want on it. Oh, sorry. Okay, whatever word you wrote on it, you may want to add some color. So you can see here, I added this green on here. For this one, I burned the outline of flowers, and then I added this pretty turquoise blue. And then I happened to have a bead that was also turquoise blue. So I used some fishing line, tied it here, and this just adds like a little bit of texture and to your garden. So I did that. So this I'm going to, of course, when you think of pumpkins, you think of orange. So I'm going to show you how to add some color to this. I did not buy outdoor acrylic paint that is orange, so I'm going to attempt to make it with red and yellow. So I'm going to mix up my own color here, and I'm going to use this bigger brush and see what I can do. I'm just trying to I think I have to add more yellow. What do you guys think? More yellow? Getting there. Okay. Okay, so one trick I learned before to get a nice straight line is I always take some tape, and I like it when it's at an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some tape, and I'm just going to tape over it so I can get a nice straight line. And I'm going to do that here as well. So you can see that I put these at an angle, and okay, that looks good. So you see that I have it, and I am going to take my smaller brush and just add a nice pop of color to this garden marker. Okay, I also would like to color my pumpkin in. So again, I'm using outdoor acrylic paint. If you don't have outdoor acrylic paint, you could also use regular acrylic paint and then just spray it with a sealer or sealant. So you can definitely do that. My husband has to go to Lowe's today to get some bug killer, so I told him to get me some as well. So you could probably order it online as well. Okay, so that's cute. Added some color to it. And this one I did before. You can see I have the paint or the tape on it. So when you remove the tape, it really does give it a nice straight edge. So just like if you're painting a room, same idea. And you can see I have a nice straight line there. Okay, so another thing that I did is I just added some twine. So if you like how that looks and you have some This is great to put outdoors because it's meant, it's very hardy. So this I actually got from the dollar store, and it's just this huge 450 feet of twine I've had forever. So this is great. And then what I did is I just wrapped it around and I used hot glue. So just tons of hot glue here. So that you could also do that as well. And I mentioned this before, but this is just a bead, and I use some fishing line so you can't really see it. So it's kind of invisible, and then the bead just comes through. So depending on if you have wooden spoons at home, you can certainly repurpose them and make some really cute garden markers from them. Okay, so the next project I'm going to show you is how to make the polymer clay markers. So just give me a second to get these out of the way. Put these behind us. And I'm going to move my hot wood burner over here. Okay. Okay, so for this next project, you're going to need some materials. Let me just show you kind of what you would need. So the first thing you're going to want is oven baked polymer clay. I have some of this left over, so I put it in a plastic baggie. And I ordered white. It's just the Craft Smart. I ordered these from Michaels. Polymer clay is great because you can create so many things, and it's so cheap. So you can really do a lot with it. You need a rolling pin. So I have this small rolling pin that I'm going to show you. I did get a spatula to scoop it up. So you have one of those handy. I have these alphabet stamps that I bought, and they are going to provide the lettering that we need to make these markers. So those are here. They come in sets with uppercase and lowercase. So I ordered both so I could have some variety. And I have this ruler, which is super helpful when you're doing this. I have I'm using a cutting board with some parchment paper, and I just tape this down so it doesn't move when I'm doing my project. And I have a butter knife, and I have a cookie sheet here, which I am going to place all my finished projects that have to be put in the oven on. So I'll put that right up here. Okay, so the polymer clay, just open up, and I'm going to show you how to make garden markers that look like this, which are bigger. I painted them yellow, so they're nice and bright. If you didn't want to paint them, you could certainly purchase colored clay. So they come in all sorts of colors. So you can pick whatever you want. I wanted to be able to make a variety of colors. And then I have some very simple garden markers here. So I really wanted the option to put whatever color I want. So I got white. But you can certainly play around with different colors. So what you want to do is take your knife and just cut off, like, I would say 1/4 of an inch clay. And you'll just want to kind of play around with it. I roll mine into a ball. Got away from me there. So kind of just warm it up so you can kind of play around with it. I'm just going to kind of roll it into a ball. And then I am going to coil it like a snake. I said to my son yesterday, make a snake. The first ones I made, I felt were big, but again, those are going to go in the garden. And then the other ones I have are smaller. So I'm going to show you both techniques. Let's start with the bigger ones first. So this, I have my ruler here, about 6 inches. So I roll it out, so it's about that long. And then you're going to take your rolling pin and just like you're making cookies, you just roll it out. Okay. Now, once you roll it out, if you feel like it's uneven, you could use your butter knife and just cut a little bit off here and there. So it got a little fat down below. So use my butter knife and I'm going to cut it. And you can see I have, looks pretty smooth. And just so we can stick in the ground easily, I am going to just cut with my butter knife a little angle here so it can easily stick into the ground. And then you're going to take your alphabet stamps and just press whatever vegetable you want to label. So I pre-made these, but this says tomato. So right here. And you can see it says tomato. And then I am going to use my spatula and transfer it to my cookie sheet, which I'm going to put in the oven after. The package I got says 275. You want to warm your oven up to, and it said 15 minutes. I ended up keeping mine in a little bit longer. It's per 1/4 inch, so I think mine were a little bit thicker, so I kept mine in about 17 minutes. So just kind of look what you're doing and read your package for sure. So let me show you how to make a couple of techniques to make these skinnier ones. They're smaller. I actually made these, and then I was on Target's website last night and I see Joanna Gaines has these markers for sale, and for, I think it was 5 of them, they were $12. And I'm like, that's kind of a lot just for these little garden markers. So I'm like, I can make those. So you can definitely, because this whole thing of clay was, I think, $3.99, and I made all these markers that you see here. So you can definitely DIY your own and be inspired by Joanna Gaines. If you go on to Target, you'll see, and I think it was 5 of them for $12.99, which is outrageous. But they are super cute. If I didn't know how to make them, I would probably purchase them, but now you can make them yourself. So what you want to do is, again, same idea. You don't need as much because these are going to be smaller. And what I envision is the smaller ones I could really use when I'm growing the seeds because they're smaller. And the bigger ones I made here are definitely great for the garden. So you know, if you have a bigger garden, but the smaller ones are going to be nice for, you know, labeling everything. So again, I'm making my snake, coiling my snake, and I'm using my ruler to get a nice straight edge, because with the smaller ones that I made, you definitely want a very straight edge, where the other ones I kind of just rolled out. So, and they're a little bit thicker as well. So here I have my ruler, I have my clay, and I am using my fingers to press my clay up to it to get a nice straight edge. And I'm still going to use my rolling pin to roll it out. And then I have a few tools too, which I do like. This is just a basic kit that I bought of clay tools, and some of them are helpful. Some of them I still have to explore how to use. And I'm just cutting a nice straight edge. And then I'm just going to move my roller over to the other side. Same idea. Super straight edge. And for this simplistic design that we're going for, we want a nice straight edge up top. And again, I'm just trying to make it super straight. At the end, I'm going to make a little stake again, so it could easily be put into my soil. Rolling it out. Okay, and I kind of want them to all look the same, so I'm just being mindful of my measurements. And I actually looked on the Target website to see how long they were, and they're 6 1/4 inches. So that's how long I made mine, because I am copying a good idea. And I am going to do one that says time, because I don't have one for my time seeds yet. Okay, and I just pressed it in. Once you press your alphabet stamp in, you can just use a tool. You can use, again, your butter knife, or if you have the clay tools, you can kind of just use them to get any imperfections out that you see. And again, I'm going to use my spatula, and I'm going to put it on my cookie sheet there. So the next one I want to show you quickly is a round one, this round one I made. So again, same idea. You just cut a piece of your clay off. Get it as soft as you can. I'm going to roll this into a ball. And I'm going to use my rolling pin. Parchment paper is not cooperating that well. That's okay. I'll win. Okay. And this I'm almost making like a sugar cookie, if you will. Okay, so I have a nice size circle, and it's very similar to the one I already made. And I didn't have any stamps. So what I did is I used these little wooden shapes I had just to create some texture. So I'll go ahead, I'm gonna make a cilantro now. And I used these wooden hexagons I had just to create some texture, just so it wasn't just straight. So again, I just took these and I made some outlines here. So again, I'm just moving it around. I don't have a pattern. I just really wanted to add a little bit of texture. If you had some nice stamps, if you had some flower stamps or something, you could definitely try those out. But if you don't, you can make your own. So that's what I did. And you can see it's right here. So I'll put that in the oven with my other ones. These ones I made yesterday. So here's one that says parsley and one that says mint. Those are my three favorites. So I have my basil, my parsley, and my mint. So those are my three favorite herbs that I will grow outside. For this one, I did a couple of different things with my paintbrush. So I'll just kind of give you some insight. I just didn't want it to be one plain color. I wanted it to match this little this bead that I had. So I did a combination of greens and blues. So just keep in mind that you don't have to have it be all one color. You can do whatever you want. So I just took, again, my outdoor acrylic green and blue, and you can take, I use a very small paintbrush to do this, and you can just kind of, and because I use those wooden hexagons, I could kind of sporadic, kind of put both. I did do like 2 different layers, so I kind of let it dry and then I added a little bit more and it around. So one thing I did too before I baked in the oven is I took you could really take a toothpick if you have it. I have these tools again, so I just put 2 holes on the top and the bottom here and here. So I did that. So again, you can do whatever colors you want, but just keep in mind you could, I did like almost like a tie-dye effect where I did a couple different colors. So I will finish that up after. Let me just quickly show you how to add the wire. So this is a 22 gauge wire that I purchased. What's nice about the 22 gauge is it's very easy to work with. So you can just take it. I just put it over like this. So I kind of just let the wire hang, and I will just add one of these beads. So I have a whole set of them. Scissors. And I will just go ahead gonna do- Okay, and again, you could just hold it over like this, and then you'll just use your pliers to wrap it around, or with a 622 gauge, you could definitely just wrap it with your fingers too. And then I just took a piece for the top as well, and really just created a very basic hook. So go over, twist it around. And then I'm just going to create a hook that will just go right over the edge of this. So I'll straighten this out and everything after. So to-do pile. Okay, so those are the polymer clay labels that you can make. You can really do so much with it. The possibilities are endless. So if you make any, make sure you use the hashtag, if you want to share with us, MCPL at home. Just to end, something super simple if you don't have a lot of supplies, but still want to add color to your garden. I basically just, found some rocks around my yard. I had my son paint them, and then I wrote the names of flowers. Excuse me, the names of vegetables, and I have watermelon as well. I'm going to grow some watermelon this year, so some fruit. And then I also just put some words. So this one just says grow. This one says bloom. So if you're not growing vegetables, but you still want to kind of put some color into your yard, you can go ahead and just add words that, inspire you. Or if you just have flowers, you can certainly do like bloom and other words around your yard. So if you don't have any questions, which I don't see any coming in, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions after. You can email me at gagliardiamber@mcpllibrary.org. And if you do any of these projects or anything else with your garden, feel free to share with us. I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the program.